Hey.
Okay. Okay, look.
I need to talk to you about a very important and serious subject. This is something that is near and dear to my heart, but also something that I just learned about recently. And now that I know about it, you need to know about it too. I need to talk to you about Jarro the Tiny Titan. Who is Jarro, you might ask? Well, okay, I'm glad you asked that. My name is Joe, and I just read a whole frickin' metric ton of Justice League comics to find out more about Batman's weirdest Robin. Okay, so imagine a telepathic starfish. Maybe you are imagining Starro, who is a massive telepathic starfish. You might have seen him in the Suicide Squad movie, the good one. Oh, don't at me. I need you to imagine a small telepathic starfish, though. He's just a little guy, a cosmic remnant from the mind-bending events of Justice League No Justice. He is a piece of that big one, Starro, which is maybe sort of confusing, but I'm not that familiar with how starfishes reproduce, so hey, maybe that's it, and you can end up with infinitely smaller starfish if you just keep taking off chunks. I admit I was not paying close attention to modern DC comics from 2017 to 2019 when all of the Jarro relevant events were happening. But if this is the first time you're hearing about Jarro, that means you weren't paying close attention either, and I'm not alone. Honestly, what happened was I was speedrunning Batman Vengeance on a GDQ Hotfix show, and the host brought up Jarro, shoutout Asuka, and since then, I've gotten completely obsessed with a cute little psychic starfish bent on becoming the best Robin there ever was. Maybe you have seen Jarro, if only in those few panels featuring Jarro in a Robin costume being hilarious that most of the comics journalism sites used to briefly talk about him. And if that's your only familiarity with him, you might be as surprised as I was to find out the actual events in his arc are way more intense than the premise of cosmic sidekick starfish may lead you to imagine. Oh my gosh, my kitten is just losing her mind. I'll try to summarize the main events that led up to Jarro's arc as simple and quick as I can. Ready? Okay, here we go. Through 2017 to 2018, a monthly crossover comic book storyline published by DC Comics called Dark Knight's Metal, with the plot written by Scott Snyder and art by Greg Capullo, Jonathan Glapion, and FCO Placentia hit the shelves. In this storyline, Batman realizes there's a dark multiverse linked to the normal DC multiverse, and through his investigations, he accidentally releases 7 evil versions of himself, led by a scary dark god known as Barbados, and they are bent on unleashing darkness throughout every single world in existence. You know, typical comic multiverse stuff. A whole lot happened during this period, but the important part for us to know right now is that the events in that arc resulted in the Justice League breaking a thing called the Source Wall, which was the supposed edge of reality itself, I guess, which is going to cause a lot of problems for everyone. In our quest to understand Jarro, that now leads us into the Justice League No Justice 4-issue limited series, where Brainiac, a super scary bad guy originating from Superman titles, for those of you not in the know, kidnaps a bunch of League members and villains from Earth, assembling them into strange, unique teams that represent mystery, wonder, wisdom, and entropy, to stop the 4 godlike beings that represent those elements from destroying the entire multiverse. Yeah, this dang multiverse is in trouble a lot, I know. This was a wild little limited series and a lot of fun to read, but the important bit for this journey is that one team had both Starro, the world-destroying giant psychic starfish we were talking about earlier, and Martian Manhunter on it. Right at the end, when everything looks the most hopeless, Martian Manhunter convinces Starro to be a universe-saving hero instead of a destroyer, and he grows to a massive size to take on one of the Titans, resulting in him being ripped apart and dying, but allowing all of our heroes and a ton of innocent civilians to escape in what ended up being a really sad, touching moment for everyone involved. Yes, it was a sad, giant, psychic starfish death, okay? You're crying, not me. Then we fast forward a bit into Scott Snyder's Justice League run, and as far as I can tell, we just kind of are randomly introduced to the fact that Batman has a piece of Starro that he's been keeping in a jar up in the Watchtower that he calls Jarro, and he's been bonding with it, and using him to probe the mind of a comatose Starman. Yeah. And then over the next arc, we're treated to a harrowing tale of devastation and multiversal destruction put in motion by a Lex Luthor on what basically amounts to like multiversal evil magic steroids possession stuff going on. And there are heroes from every dimension dying, and it's super tragic. And the whole time, Jarro, a little psychic starfish possessing immense power who is obsessed with Batman, is a very important to the story character. Which should be like super silly, right? But the whole thing is played completely straight, and by the end of it, I was crying over the emotional arc of the multiverse's greatest Robin to ever fight by Batman's side. As we witness Jarro's unexpected emergence, it's important to appreciate the kind of wild storytelling choices that Scott Snyder and team made in bringing this unlikely character to life in the DC universe. But Jarro isn't just a sidekick or a one-off goofy comic addition. He's a symbol of unexpected alliances and the power of compassion in the face of cosmic chaos. Now, let's talk about the adorable dynamic duo that is Batman and Jarro. A lot of Batman's stories show him as a brooding, solitary figure who goes to extreme lengths to remain a solitary island of emotionally closed-off justice. But I've always maintained that the most interesting Batman stories involve him gaining back some of his humanity by taking on a new member of the Bat family. Seeing the brooding crime fighter forced into a father figure role adds so much more depth to Bruce and his war, and honestly, I think these stories get to what drives Bruce more than crime fighting or anything else. He's given these opportunities to form familial bonds with younger people and star people when they are in moments of loss and struggle. In this arc of Justice League, Batman is mostly confined to the Watchtower in a full-body cast that's also like a suit of cool armor, I guess. The human Robins and the rest of the Bat family are off doing their own thing, and he's back to being his broody, angry self. And I mean, I'd be a bit of an emo boy too if I'd almost ruined the whole multiverse by unleashing monstrous versions of myself from other realities, causing my team to have to break the wall at the edge of reality. But Jarro is there too. He's been bonding with Batman, learning from him, constantly calling him his dad, and doing anything he can to please Bruce as he aids him and the rest of the Justice League in the ridiculous crisis they found themselves in. As a father figure to a newly formed psychic starfish, Batman finds himself in uncharted territory, and the emotional complexity of their relationship adds a new layer of humanity to the Dark Knight. There are a lot of really fun panels where we get to see Jarro riding on the Caped Crusader's shoulder, trying to hug him, throwing fun little quips into Bruce's serious conversations, and generally being adorable with his adopted father. The juxtaposition of Batman's stoicism and Jarro's exuberance creates a narrative tension that's both heartwarming and thought-provoking. It's a testament to the writer's ability to explore the softer, more vulnerable side of the Caped Crusader using a goofy-looking little psychic starfish who was formed from a piece of one of the Justice League's greatest foes. Now, as Jarro navigates the vastness of the DC universe, he grapples with a fundamental question. Who is he? Beyond his starfish exterior and quirky personality, Jarro embarks on a journey of self-discovery, seeking to define his own identity in a world of gods and monsters. All of his early exposures to the world were formed from a jar, kept in the Justice League's space station, constantly by the side of a broken Batman. I think a psychic being of his power only being exposed to heroes of the Justice League's caliber in his early development is fascinating, right? Jarro comes from a species designed specifically to destroy, but here he is growing up around the universe's greatest heroes, picking up all of their thoughts, their emotions, and morals as he grows and matures. He should have been meant for evil. But we see nurture win out over nature in the background as the story progresses, and Jarro works to develop his sense of self as he turns himself into a real, honest-to-goodness hero. We see him go from a jar, idolizing Batman from afar, to walking around the Justice League headquarters, interacting with all sorts of Leaguers, to even accompanying Queen Mara on a mission, to helping maintain a psychic link between all of the Leaguers in a moment of crisis, riding into battle along with all of the many versions of the Justice League members that have been pulled from the various corners of many different universes. This quest for identity is a universal theme that resonates with readers, as we all, in our own ways, seek to understand who we are and where we belong. Jarro's journey becomes a metaphor for the human experience, making him a relatable and endearing character. I think, in a way, Jarro can be seen as a self-insert character for the reader. He's just a kid lost in the world, looking up to Batman and trying to learn how to be a better person and keep his inner evil at bay by imitating the heroes around him. Here's the thing. All of those cute pictures of him in a Robin suit, fighting crime alongside Batman as his favorite Robin that all the many listicle content mill sites wrote about him, the ones I've probably used for the thumbnail on this video and I've included throughout the video so far, none of that really happened. After learning about Jarro during that GDQ hotfix run and doing some cursory searching on the internet, I thought I was in for a fun little romp through some silly comic issues that I could mine for a fun, short little video. But all of these articles, listicles, and content mill sites just cherry-picked the cutest panels without context, none of which are real. One little sequence turns out to be a fun daydream on the part of our favorite little starfish, imagining him impressing his adopted father, and sure, that's adorable, I loved every panel. But a few issues later, we're finally treated to some awesome Jarro action. He's donned a badass little Robin outfit and teleported himself directly into the lair of the Legion of Doom. No need to wait for the other heroes. Jarro has got this. There's a pitched battle. Starfire rallies the troops back at the tower and they come to assist Jarro, who has been successfully duking it out with the villains, outsmarting them at every turn. He's done it. He really is the greatest Robin who ever lived. The day is saved. Jarro is the hero he always wanted to be, and he's finally gained his father's love. But we find out that it was all an illusion. Jarro actually embraced his Starro powers and sent spores throughout the entire Justice League base, attaching them to each Justice League member in turn to feed them this beautiful action-packed lie. He's psychically manipulating them all into believing the day has been saved. And why? Was he a villain all along? It turns out our Jarro has had a vision of the future where the Justice League, his adopted family, Batman, the man he loves more than anyone else in the world, are completely and utterly destroyed by the Legion of Doom. This tears him apart. He can't let it happen, so he embraces the power of the being he was torn from, reaching a giant size and exerting his will on his family, not to destroy them, but to hide them away from the Legion of Doom in a psychic trance where he believes that they can be happy. But Batman is able to break free of his pseudo-son's control and confronts the now giant and looming Jarro in what is now one of my favorite comic moments of all time. It's just, my heart You know, okay, you know what? I'm just going to read it to you. I'm tearing up writing the script, and I couldn't do it justice with a summary. No, this isn't who you are. You don't know who I am. The hell I don't. Because your story, the tale of Jarro, is the story of the whole universe. It was created to be dark, but through heart and sacrifice, the universe was reborn as something bright, something brave. Now it's being pulled back to the dark. Everyone out there is, don't you see? Every damn thing out here is like you, fighting to be better than its nature. We are all Jarro. And for what it's worth, we're afraid of losing you too, kiddo. I'm afraid of losing you. That's why we'll win. And that gets through to him, and Jarro shrinks back down to his smaller size, where he is embraced tenderly by Batman. A canonical, tender Batman hug is happening with a cute, psychic starfish. And how is one of the cutest things I've ever seen in a comic happening in this arc of all arcs? Jarro takes his place on Batman's shoulder with renewed determination and tells the rest of the League when asked what's going on. It's simple. We're preparing for war. I wasn't expecting to get all of the feels from what seems at first glance like a gimmicky joke. I love Jarro. He truly is my favorite Robin of all time and was a really timely reminder in my life that even if we're being pulled towards the dark, it's worth it to be out there, fighting to be better than our nature. We are all Jarro. And you know what? We can do it. I believe in us. So that's Jarro the Tiny Titan, a character born from the cosmic chaos of some very strange Justice League arcs, who has, against all odds, become a symbol of heart, humor, and heroism. Jarro challenges preconceived notions of what it means to be a hero, showing that even the most unexpected individuals can make a significant impact. For the record, they do win and put the multiverses back into an almost semblance of order. Jarro actually appeared in one more arc briefly since that run in Justice League as a sidekick for Harley Quinn in the terrifying events of Dark Knight's death metal. But it was a brief, it's still pretty adorable, stint that didn't really fit into this overall video. If you enjoyed this little exploration of my new favorite Robin, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. I'm sure I missed something in my reading. It was quite a rabbit hole. So if you notice that I screwed anything up, missed a fact, or you just have something fun to say about the best Robin, I'd love to hear it. And I just want to give a big shout out to my patrons from patreon.com/MTGJoeD. Normally at this bit, I'd be dressed up in a fun Batman costume doing the voice, but I just got a new kitten, and she's adorable. Her name's Gojira. We call her Goji, and it's too late at night and I'm too tired to put on the mask. So here's a bunch of pictures of the adorable new addition to the family. If you like what I'm doing, or you think Goji is really cute, you can become a patron. Even as little as $1 a month really helps us out and helps me buy more treats for the kitten. $1 tacos, thank you so much. The $5 Phillips, Tom, Vesuvius, Death's Warzone, I appreciate you. The I Love You Friend patrons, the Driz fam, Meg, thank you. It really it means so much to me that people believe in what I'm doing enough to try to contribute to getting me to doing it full time someday. So Goji, Otis, Loki, and I all really appreciate you. And we'll see you in the next one, coming soon.